Well, hello everyone. So, quick before we start, what this is, I decided in January, like, hey, let's do a thing and try to draw all kinds of versions of Sans I come across in my sketchbook. Problem now, I have run out of sketchbook. But good thing, I have gotten my hand on my sibling's old drawing tablet, and I was like, well, it's been 4 months since I started. How about I, redo the first ones I did and try to do it digitally? I have no experience doing digital art, so I'm probably going to do a lot of things wrong. The only things I've done is a redo of my avatar and some pen sketches, trying to see what all the different pens do. So I will just be commentating on the decisions that I made, and this is going to be at least a redraw of the first 4 I did, maybe all 20 Sans drawings I did. So let's get into it. And right away you see here me trying, and it immediately goes wrong before I even attempt it. And at first I'm starting with a sketch of Sans. I hope I get the image of the first one I did. You see that I do the skull quite differently from how I did it in the first ones. I got on this style eventually through the 20 I drew, and I liked the way of the skull this way a lot more. I also decided that I wanted to make him look less confused, because he looked very confused in the original, and I just wanted him to be happy and chill. I wanted something pretty simple but more challenging than I did the original one. So we're done with the sketching of the face. He's winking. He's probably made a pun at this point. And at this point we're trying to do the hoodie for Sans. I left some space for, I don't know the English names of the bones that are beneath the spine, the vertebrate. Ah, yes, the floof of the hoodie. This is going to be fun later. Also, I am not. Yes, we're going here with that. I wanted to do the hands, because especially in my first few drawings, I barely drew hands. I just put. I hit the hands, or or the arms, and just put them down. And I at least wanted to do some kind of, pose. So I was like, we do the classic shrug pose for Sans, which fitted with the wink. So here's me quickly making a zipper, which is great. And some pockets. And we're here. What is this? So again, yeah. Well, I said this is just sketching very quickly at this moment. Well, trying to go with them. Where am I going with my mouse? I don't even know. Oh, was this check? Oh yeah, this doesn't capture if I go to other places, like checking on how the hands work. That was a pretty okay hand for a first sketchy attempt. You hear that now? It's gonna be very fun later when they're not that great when I'm going for the big outline. For here, I'm just trying to get form and everything. And I'm pretty happy with it. I should probably just, not do it like this. I should actually make shapes. But like I said, this is the first one I did, and I was just very eager to get going. Now I'm making the clothes a bit looser, because Sans is a messy guy. The clothes are hanging over it. And it's not gonna be neat at all. I thought that the space between the zippers was too big, so I decided to let's remove all of that. So that's what I'm doing. Too much space. We're making the space all, and I picked the wrong brush, because of course I did. That is something that you will also keep seeing during this all. And oh yeah, because apparently I also can draw straight lines. That's very yeah. And yeah, again the zipper is being quickly drawn. They just kind of look like bumps instead of zipper teeth, but it's all alright. We make the new pockets, which I like. I really like drawing pockets. And now we're going for, lines. Here is me trying to find out which pen I want to use for the dark outline, because I like outlines on my drawings. And I just wanted to find a pen that I was happy with. Which I eventually did, and this is one pen that I kept remembering which one it was, and I didn't confuse. Now we're going at the attempt of drawing a half a circle, and it's going terribly, as you can see. I cannot keep it like I want. There we go again, and we go again. Did we have something? No. Nope, I removed it again. Now I try to do it in 2 half circles. Doesn't work. I don't enjoy it. I probably need to recalibrate the drawing tablet. And I think this is the one that I eventually took that I liked. Now we're going for the other circle. This is going to take a couple of attempts as well. And eventually we get one that... Yeah, no. Oh, how many attempts? How many? I don't know. 5? Another one? Another one? No. There we go. That was one that I finally liked. And now, the hard part, the smile. Because if you even go a slightly bit off, you get a crooked smile. And it just looks weird. And like I said, drawing in one continuous line on a drawing tablet while not looking at your paper and only being able to look right at the screen and not at what your hand is doing is quite hard. And I hope this is something that I get better at on time. And then I'm finally happy with the shape. I figure out I can't draw straight lines for some reason. Probably, I don't know if that's a calibration issue or if I just can't draw straight lines. But eventually I get teeth that I'm happy with. The nose! Oh, yes. I really like the inverted heart shape for the nose for skeletons. And you see me coloring it immediately, which is funny because I decide later to not do that. The eye shape. It's still not as straight as I want it to be, but I am really happy with this, with how this wing turned out here. It looks pretty great. Okay, we go back to the neck. Again, half circles. Half circles are not my friend. But this one worked out better than previously. And here we get... If you can do it in steps, I do it in steps. But if I think it needs to be done in one, it is getting turned into one line, and it's just a problem. You see that big blob over there that I made on the right side? Yeah, I'm not fixing that, and I don't know why I didn't fix that. I should have fixed that. Yeah, the floof. The floof is a very hard. It was not working like I wanted to. It turned out, I was not happy. It turned out too big, and eventually I did this, and this worked out like I wanted. Mostly how I wanted. For some reason I did it here just once, or no, twice I think? Maybe once. And I didn't come back to it. I should have come back to it, if I'm honest. I should have come back to it. And here we have another sack of Nuffy can't draw a straight line to save her life. But this one was pretty quick, especially the second one. That one was just, I am so happy with that line. And here I was like, I'm happy I don't have to draw a straight line. Because, close to kind of flump. Is that a word? I don't know. Okay, here's me attempting to do the zipper, and I didn't like how it turned out. So, and I did it again, then I found it too tiny, and then I made just squares. This is gonna be the zipper. And here I can draw straight lines, apparently, but all the shapes are not even, and but I am quite happy with how the zipper teeth look. Though I think I should have worked harder on making them at least even looking instead of all different kind of square. No, they're not squares. Rectangles. Different kind of rectangles. Yes. Oh, the arms. Well, but I don't know why I did like the lower arm. They're sketchy, and then we get to the fingers. The fingers are gonna be a saga all on their own, because I am not used to drawing hands, and even more skeleton hands, which do make it easier actually if you keep them a bit more cartoony, because you just draw the shapes of it. But I am one, not good at proportions, and two, positioning isn't good, and I wasn't happy. I found them too tiny. I got frustrated, so I'm like, yeah, go back to that later. Try the other side, see if it works out better. Because I do like drawing arms quite a lot. Just hands are a nightmare. A couple of there is a reason the hands were hidden on all the first drawings. But that's also why I want to try to draw them this time. And I still quite like this sleeve. How it turned out well. I was not going with the lines. I thought the hand looked weird when I looked back on it, and then I tried to. The thumb didn't want to work like I wanted to. It always looked kind of weird. The shape of the hand was too big with what I made, and now I made a little shark instead of a hand, in my opinion. Why I continued on that shape, I don't know. I wasn't happy here. I am just writing down like, hey, go back to it later, do something else, let some of the frustration out on it. There I tried with the line up, try to make some, fold lines like I do later there in the t-shirt, but I didn't quite like it. I noticed that I didn't like the gap there. I wanted to do lines in the shirt first, but I didn't. And then I was like, no, I need to have like how big the shirt is actually going to be before I do fold lines. That seems better. Here I do the same. I tried from going top to bottom, bottom to top to see what would work out, and eventually I got a line that I'm like, yes, I'm very happy. And I redid the pockets. I really like pockets. I am very fond of how you can draw pockets. And then what happened there is that I found that the pockets weren't really aligned well with each other. That I thought the other one was way too high. It didn't matter to me that it was a little bit higher. It's like because also the jacket isn't completely aligned, but that seemed like a fine way to start. Now we're on to the pants, and I figured out that I am just this part. I remember just drawing this. I'm like no. All the lines that I drew was like no. Because I'm like, no, this doesn't work. Eventually I got a few. I'm like, somehow this works. I don't know what I did differently. So the lines on the pants for the white line that says on the pants, this was very difficult because you need to try to draw equal lines. Probably just use a tool for that. There's probably a tool for that I just don't use that make straight lines much easier than what I'm doing. And but yeah, that's a learning process. I'm going to find that tool, and at some point I'm gonna use it. But at this point I'm just like, I'm gonna retry this hand thing. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should make more of a wrist first before I make it flat. And but then I was like, the thumb didn't really work. I'm like, okay, maybe just redo this whole arm bit. Maybe the arm is too. I made the arm sleeve too small, so that's why the hands felt tiny. Then I didn't get. I really didn't like that. I think I am repeating the same sentence at this point. I really didn't like that. Why? I don't know. Figuring out, but I like that I kept figuring it out. That the shape should have been more. What is the word? Pentagony? Like it should be more of a pentagon, and then it makes making the fingers easier. I do really like this thumb, but it's really too big for the hand that I'm actually going for. Like, in any other circumstances, if it was like holding something, that would have been a great thumb. Also, just the hands should just be more. At this point, I was at least attempting, I think, to think of doing the gloves. Then I needed to go to do the dishes, and I took a small break, which you see right here, that I came back and now removing this. This is just was me writing down from, hey, at least then I know why I stopped, and I have where I'm at. And then I picked the wrong pencil again, but I got the good one afterwards. For some reason I accidentally got it on purple. And we're at least making another couple of hand attempts before I finally get what I like. Because I noticed that I'm not enjoying the sleeve, and I think at this point I decided, like, yes, the hands aren't working for me. Let's do the gloves instead. Which I am quite sad that I didn't do the hands, but I'm also quite happy to at least attempt gloves, because those can look really weird. They can look like crap hands. And I don't know why I decided to add the star. I was like, I find it very empty up there, and I decided to do, a little star that's like wink. I think it kind of adds to it. I think I'm I'm checking if I came back to the nose because I decided I am going to draw a color in the black for the nose and the eye hole with a different kind of I'm going to get some food, which turned out is like, it turned out it's like, I'm gonna put a go back. Turned out to be a day. I spent a long time longer downstairs than I thought. But I decided to erase the nose bit because I wanted to do a different color black. I wanted to try shadings of black because you can do that with pencils and markers. And I thought it's like a fun experience, so that's why I removed that. I remember opening it again because it's now a day later than and I thought it's like that the right arm just looked smaller. I grabbed here a second page to attach a different kind of brushes because I want to use different kinds of brushes for coloring, and I'm just not. And here is, you see what I say, it's more smoky than I wanted to use for the inside. It's still. Here at the end, it turns out like pretty just the same color anyway. But it is the thought that counts, I guess. You do see the different shades here up close, but I don't think you see it when it's zoomed out. I just really wanted to have like a different shade, especially the smokiness seemed really... I really liked it. It's like, oh, yeah, it's farther away, so it's so the deeper it is darker. Now I'm, because I can't do color in the lines, I'm going with the eraser to, add to it. And I noticed that like my circle, oh yes, I was doing some shading. I really like what I did here with the dark smokiness. I think it adds to it. I tried here around the mouth. I didn't really like it. Here are some shadows on the skull itself. Again, I tried the mouth. I just didn't really like what turned out there. Now then some shadows for the vertebrates. They're called vertebrates, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And just some shading. It's like it's still it's a slight grayish black, which I really like those. I am very happy. And then it's like, oh, I really didn't like that my circle wasn't a circle, so I tried to edit it to be more of a circle. Then I just decided I didn't like the star. The shape of it. I'm like, I can make a better star. So we're gonna watch me attempt to draw a star a couple of times. Then I accidentally brought the other star back, and then again, instead of... and then I accidentally used purple, because I just pressed the wrong button. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is a way to draw a star that makes the things more equal. And then I had this one. I really, really like what I did here with this one. I really like the star here. It really worked out well. And then I accidentally got back too far and had to do that again. And then here I was editing on the shadows again. And in the eye until I got a circle that I liked. And I really like how that one eventually turned out, the highlight for Sans here. Now I think checking on what kind of at first I'm checking which kind of blue I want for the jacket. And I think this is the color I eventually set on, and now I'm just testing some brushes to go over because to get a nice texture for the jacket. I really remember liking this, just going through each other. I don't remember why I didn't like some of these. I remember not really liking really the solid colors. I didn't want to have solid color. I remember why I liked the one that I went with, because it left a bit of white in between there, which made it feel more, I don't know, fabric-y. That's really not a word, but we're going for it. And it also is like makes it feel like the fabric is a bit faded. Like it's a very it's a thing that he wears every day kind of deal, which feels like he should like he wears it every day, or at least maybe the same one jacket. So, and it also kind of harkens back to the use of markers. So I really like this. I did notice that which you will notice when I say coloring this, that I liked that the more to I like the edges more white, and how more we go to the center, the dark, more solid of a color I like. Also, I noticed that if I continue, is that I started to care less about the lines, and it just went for, hey, this is where the color goes, and then I go back with a eraser to fix all the mistakes that I made, which works. I'm also happy that my sibling taught me how to use layers. because that would have because I knew they existed, but I had no idea how to use them, and my sister kindly explained to them at least the basic of layers. So I'm trying to go with a darker color here, and I'm like, why isn't it working? I'm like, oh yeah, layers go depending on where it is, and here I use a darker blue to accentuate the fact that this is a pocket, that is further away. I do really like the color of blue. I decided I should have I did the lines that the lines don't add up to the pocket on the right side is deliberate, so that it like feels like he has something in his pocket, probably like a whoopee cushion or a bottle of ketchup. You decide what's in there. Yeah, all the shadows are being added. I am just adding where I think they should. I probably should plan that better. Maybe I'm not sure if you should plan that better. This is just because I also don't really plan on where the light source is, which I probably should do if I think about it. But yeah, I remember thinking I was like, oh, I need to have them beneath the floof, but not right maybe on the straight line next to the floof towards the zippers. But in the end I did decide that they should be there because I'm like, oh, it's just folded over. But maybe it didn't make all the sense in the world. Maybe I should just have started it at the floof itself. I'm calling it floof. I don't know what to call it. It's the hood, the floof of the hood. The fabric. It's not fabric. I don't know. It's feathers. Yeah, I went back and got the blue again, and I used the tooltip because I do know how to use those. So I can grab the same color, and you see here that what I said before, that I made the more center more solid, and especially on the sleeves, I like to keep the fadedness because I'm like, oh. Yeah, I can see him just, I don't know why specifically the sleeves that those would be faded, but I don't know, that felt very in character to get because that's like the first part that fades. Also, I actually really liked how the blue, got this shade on the white feathers. Which, if you look at the original, which I hope that I managed to get in the corner here somewhere, the original drawing that I had there, I had the floof gray. I don't think I made it gray here, but now I'm here, I'm just clearing up all the air and blue outside of the lines to clean up after myself. Like I said, I think it works out better if I do it like that, because I am not I am good at drawing within the lines on paper, but when you can't, I am not this great yet at judging at how big this this pixel brush is, a 6-pixel brush, how big that is compared to a 7-pixel brush. So yes, we're getting to the gloves. I picked a color that I liked, and I am eventually going. I'm going crazy here on all the different brushes. Because I wanted to use a different, because I think it's a different fabric, so it needs a different texture kind of feel to it. I remember I just really liked that this one just blended a lot with other colors, and even though it was on a different layer, I noticed it was also blending with itself a lot, and so I grabbed a bit of darker, and I really like what this gray did. This gray is actually, if because here this glove especially, I really like that it blended. I don't know how I did it, but I think the light to dark on this one really turned out great on this left glove here. And I really enjoyed that I found, and I'm like just trying all these brushes, and that I just happened to find one that blended. Because I don't know how to blend, but this one did, and I really like it. Also, it really worked here on this half that I got the top here darker on, and then it went lighter, because if you go over the same place more, it applies more, and you get the darker shade. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. Just the different kind of shades. I remember that there I thought that I made the tips too dark, and I'm just like right now trying to blend it in, because I'm not quite sure how I'm blending it, but I'm slowly figuring it out by, just trial and error, and I am really enjoy. I remember just really enjoying this brush a lot, that I work with it quite so much, and here and then I'm just very cleaning up after myself. Then I grabbed the dark blue again, and was like, oh, I have a feeling that the gray and the blue were that I left too much white space in between the gray and the blue lines. So I was just going back to it, and then I decided to say, oh, just go back to every single big piece of the dark blue that you have. And so I did. To accentuate the shadows of it. So what are we doing now again? Oh, I picked the gray again, and am I going for the... Yeah, oh yeah, I grabbed the darker shades because I was like, oh, the shadow of the sleeves needs to show up. I'm not quite sure if I did get exactly that, but like I said, I really like this left glove on the shading. The right one is good, but not as good as the left one. And I think I remember thinking here if I should do what I'm here doing in this gray, if I might do it blue, because it's also the hoodie. But I'm like, is this the hood or the hoodie itself? And eventually I decided to do a not as dark as I did before, but a very light shade of gray, and then go I use that, because then I just use the outlining of the hood, which is white in the front, and then I use that light gray as just a shadow. Then I used, here I had picked a different brush, as you can see, for the zipper, and I'm just slowly going over all the zipper pieces. I wasn't really... I remember wanting this to be a more solid color, because these are, I assume, metal. And I hope you don't hear that. I really hope not. But that's fine, that was my alarm. I have to go do dishes again. But I can hold that off for a little while. But then again, we're almost finished with the zipper. Yes. And then I saw again, oh no, I forgot a bit of blue again. That leaked out. So here I am removing everything. And around all the corners. And then I decided, like, no, this is too much. And also, I noticed that I'm far more liberate with changing the size of the brush on the eraser than I am on the pencils itself. I should probably do that more on the pencils itself as well. But tips to take away for next time. Well, we were going all around because I noticed apparently it's like, oh no, I haven't really taken a good look. Well, I still think it's fine. There's that one line there is bothering me so much. I think I'm just on the wrong layer. And here we went all around, and then here you see me going for the line eventually that I'm like, oh, this is on the right one. I should probably also have done something with lighter shading. I think I only did dark shading on this one. I should probably do something with lighter shading on when I do the next one. And oh yes, we're going for the pants, which is gonna be fun. Because right now we're going here, I'm going for black, but I decide, and then, okay, a bit lighter than black, but still black. And again, fine for something that was good. I really like that brush, by the way, the one that here did the blue light. If I ever need to do a colored highlight, I'm gonna use that one. I can find the one that blended everything. I really like mushing all the colors together. I really like this brush. I've used it on my the redo I did of my avatar, but I made it a bit smaller here because the normal brush was too big. But the more I did it, I really didn't like it. I'm like, I am not liking the look of this. I decided to also go over that white bit. So I just decided, just like, oh, I need to test this on here on the pants to see if I really like the thing. That one was too solid, and then I found this big brush, and I really like this big brush because I'm like, oh, this makes it feel like it's stretching, and I can get the. Again, I really like having a bit of faded color in there, and here you see me having trouble again with the amount of here. I don't know what happened here. I used the same brush because I checked back that I used the same brush. I did, and I still have the same. But what I notice now is that I don't have the same color, so that's why I was like, why isn't it the same color? Because it isn't the same color. You changed the color around, remember? And here I'm just erasing all because I used, like I said, a big brush. I am removing all the darkness, and I should. I'm now erasing all the black from the white lines. I should probably have done something with these white lines, like use a different shade of white. Does that make sense? A different shade of white? No, right? It doesn't make sense, but did something to accentuate them a bit more. And I'm slowly remove. But this way, I was making the accents higher than I do. But there is part of me that likes the wobbliness of it. There's part of me that absolutely hates it. It should have been too. At least the lines themselves should have been equal between them, and not they go big and small and big and small. Here I remember not really thinking about these shadows, and I probably should have. And we're here at the final bit. I'm coloring the star now, and then just removing everything around it. And then I think I'm done afterwards. I think I'm done after this. Yeah, This is no, we're not completely done, because apparently we also have the adventures of me writing my writing when it's not just a quick sketch, because I did want to have the consistency with the old one, which has the date that it's finished, the name of or at least the most used fan name for the character, except for Sans, which is of course people use classic, but I eventually did write it like I want to, with the finished date and signature, and I am quite happy with how that one turned out eventually. Especially now that you can here is no a comparison for if I manage to edit that together. Here's a comparison, and for my first time drawing with digital art, that's great. I think, at least I hope so. So yes, we're going to do this again. At least I am going to do this again, and it's going to be fun. And the next I'm going to draw is Underswap Sands, or Blue, or the magnificent Blue. I can talk, as you can see. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are gonna watch this or even like this, but I am going to do this for me to draw and maybe actually get better at digital art. So